About actually there are two parts. So you started by talking about the younger professionals, so they kind of like go in very excited and so forth. But then later on, you kind of talked about the older professionals' inability to adapt, right? So I'll answer the question in two parts. So I think for the younger professionals, most of the time it's probably their first job, maybe second job, right? First 3 years, right? So think about it. You know, I think it happens a lot as agents. You go in, right? You don't dare to ask a single question. I keep quiet. My senior can't tell me what to do. I wait for my manager.
Definitely.
Right? So what actually happens is really, like I said, the first step that they're missing actually is clarity, getting clear on the corporate world. So a lot of people actually miss out the opportunity in the first 30 days to sit down with your manager and say, okay, I'm based on the JD that I was hired, right? I'm supposed to be doing this. So I just wanted to confirm, what am I exactly supposed to be doing and where can I get the resources or training or materials or whatever. But most people don't actually do that. So they do whatever they want to do. Oh, boss say do this, I do this. Boss say do that. Can you work extra hours? This and bits and pieces. So I think in a way, it balloons out very quickly and you may not actually be aware that things are ballooning.
Yeah.
Because you just feel like, oh, I'm just doing a task. And how come last time got 5 tasks per week? Now I feel like there are 15 tasks a week.
And it's a day-to-day thing, right? So it builds slowly and you don't realize it. Yeah.
So the more you can't finish, the more it kind of rolls to the next day, that sort of thing. But if you had just used the first 30 days to actually sit down, and this is kind of something I go into a little bit more detail, my course and stuff like that, but really outlining the first 30 days, what actually you're supposed to achieve week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, then that kind of sets the foundation. So this will lead into the other stuff where eventually maybe your boss comes with A, B, C, D, E. Then it actually sets you up in a space to negotiate your pay, your position and stuff like that. Say, hey, I started with this, now I'm actually doing A, B, C, D, E. So
I see.
That's some smart shit.
I see.
So the big mistake a lot of the younger people make is that, right, go in rushing in, right, tomorrow I'll become boss, tomorrow I'll become a senior. I'm like, but you're not positioning yourself. So in corporate, right, a lot of things is strategy. Hard work is not enough.
I couldn't agree more, maybe.
Not enough.
so.
A lot of people, there's a misconception is like, they always say, work smart. I'm like, okay, but if you work smart without learning how to work hard, you are going to design some shortcut that make the house of cards come tumbling down because you don't really understand end to end how it's supposed to work, why it's designed this way, and what your boss actually cares about, which kind of goes back to the step 1 I was talking about. So you try to cut because people say, I shouldn't be working late. Work-life balance, ma. So I want to go home.
Yeah.
So let me chop. Then you anyhow chop the pieces. In the end, the whole thing comes tumbling down because you may not have enough experience or spend enough time in the company or industry to really understand why it needs to be done this way. Once you learn it, of course, you can give some suggestions, be creative and chop out all this stuff. But I think that's probably the mistake. So that's quite different from the older generation one that you talk about, which is the adaptation. That one probably I will apply a slightly different strategy because that one is actually the problem is step 2. They know what they're supposed to do, but they don't know how to do it.
Yeah.
Different thing. The first one is different. The first one is, actually I don't really know what's supposed to be do. I just do whatever. Right? So the second, I would say the older generation one in terms of to adapt, probably for those, they maybe need to be more upfront with their bosses and just say, okay, right, this is my skill set. Now you need me to do this. So can you give me like a 3-month plan to upskill because you expect it tomorrow cannot lah. But
That's
most
fair.
people, they don't want to say that because they're like, what if people think I'm stupid?
Yeah.
I'm like, stupid now or stupid later? Sometimes, I mean, like,
This is a fair point, man.
A bit like rude about it, but like really think about it because if you agree, which is, I think it's a very Asian thing. I used to work with a lot of Asians, Caucasians, people from many countries. I think it's a very Asian thing. Don't know, we don't say don't know. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay lah. I try lah.
I couldn't agree more.
It's a cultural thing for sure.
I am not very familiar in the corporate world, all right? But I just want to ask, when your boss were to give you a task thing, right? And then you tell your boss, I don't know. Is there like any repercussion that will comes in